Good morning, boys and girls. So excited that today is Thursday. It is our last day of this week. Just a reminder, no work will be posted tomorrow, Friday, or on Monday. You get to have a 4-day weekend, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm hoping we have some nice weather and it doesn't get too cold. I know our temperature kind of dropped today, so. Big things just to kind of touch base on. Make sure that any assignments that you are doing, that you're hitting the turn in button. I am taking grades on certain things and taking data down, and you're going to start getting comments back on some of your work, which you might receive an email for, and it'll say Mrs. Ice commented on your work, and that's where it'll tell you your grade for that assignment. Sometimes I return your work to you if I think you need to go fix something, and that's when you can go fix it, okay? Go add that sentence that you forgot and different things like that. There are due dates on these now, and so if you go past a due date and you don't turn something in, your computer's going to alert you, the Google Classroom. So, all right, we have a live Google Meet session today. It will not be a learning lesson. It'll just be time to see Mrs. Kelly, and that's at 10:30 a.m. Awesome. Okay, here we go. Today's story is an Easter story because this weekend is Easter. That's why we have the 4-day weekend. It's also considered our little spring break. And our book is called Last One In is a Rotten Egg by Diane DeGroat. And on the back of our book, it says, is it always best to be first? And that's a great question to think about. Like, sometimes being first isn't always best, you know? And we're going to see that in the story today. Before we start, I want to go over a quick little lesson. Sometimes we have Y at the end of the words. So you can see here, we have a Y here and a Y here. So if we try to read this word, we would start with our first sound, G, ya, grumpia. Now, this Y at the end of the word, boys and girls, makes the E sound. I'm going to kind of, wow, that was like not done very well. Sorry, being left-handed is a struggle sometimes. I'm going to put it in here. So when you have a Y at the end of the word, it makes two sounds. It can make the I sound and it can make the E sound. And for today, we're going to work on the E sound. So we have the word grump, E, happy. So I want you guys to be listening while I read. If you hear E at the end of a word like happy, grumpy, I want you to put your hand on your heart, and I might mention it, I might not, but this is something you can be doing at home. If you're reading a book on Raz Kids, make a list and underline those Y's to remind ourselves that Y at the end of the word makes the E sound. You want to be looking for those things, looking for patterns as you read, okay? Do those with the books that you have at home if you're reading on Raz Kids or book books. All right, let's get started on our story. Last one in is a rotten egg. Ooh. Gilbert and Lola were excited. Their cousin Wally was coming. They hadn't seen him in a long time, and they were looking forward to his visit. He's here! Lola shouted from the window. Oh, goodness. Guess what? I already heard a word that had the E sound at the end, and it was someone's name, and his name is Wally. So we're going to capitalize the W because it's a name. Always capitalize names. They're called proper nouns. And we're going to underline that Y because it's making that E sound, okay? The door burst open and Wally tumbled in. Last one in is a rotten egg, he yelled. Uncle Gus appeared in the door behind him. Hello, all, he said, picking up the umbrella stand that Wally had knocked over. Wally was much bigger than Gilbert remembered. He was almost as tall as Uncle Gus. You're just in time for lunch, Mother said. I made soup and sandwiches. Last one in is a rotten egg, Wally shouted, running to the table. Gilbert walked quickly to his seat. Lola walked quickly, too. They didn't want to be rotten eggs. Did some of you put your hands on your hearts? Guess what I heard? Whoop! Better clean that up real quick. Quickly. So this has the root word of quick, but it has a Y at the end, and it's making the E sound, so quickly. Okay, here we go. Mother didn't care if she was a rotten egg. She carefully served the soup before sitting down. She said to Wally, "You'll have fun this afternoon. There's an Easter egg hunt in the park." Oh goodness, there was another word. Guys, we're having a lot of E sounds at the end of our words. This word actually has a word inside of the word, which you're going to see at different times. This word is carefully. We have the word care right here, okay? But we had that Y at the end. And we heard Wally again, so we'll just put a little check mark. Wally made a face and said, "Egg hunts are for babies." But Gilbert wanted his friends to meet Wally. "There's a prize if you find the most eggs," he said cheerfully. "And there's a prize if you find the golden egg," Lola added. "I'm going to look real hard and find it." "I'll go," said Wally, "but I still think it's stupid." Then he stuffed the last of his peanut butter sandwich into his mouth, saying, "Last one finished is a rotten egg." I'll be honest, guys, Wally seems kind of rude to me. He's not very kind at all. I heard that word carefully again. And actually, it wasn't carefully. It was cheerfully. Cheerfully. And it has that E sound at the end. That Y at the end makes the E sound at times. It can also make the I sound. Also, we had Wally's name again. So we'll just put a little check mark right there. I wonder if he'll find that golden egg, Wally. We'll see. Okay, so they're going to a park. At the park, Wally didn't want to stay with Gilbert and his friends. He took a basket and headed for the starting line. "Your cousin is not very friendly," Patty said. "He just wants to win," Gilbert answered. Gilbert wanted to win too, so when the whistle blew, he ran after Wally, calling, "Last one up the hill is a rotten egg!" And there was another word. Oh my goodness, friendly. Sorry guys, my handwriting is not looking very good today. Has the root word friend in it, friendly. They raced in all directions, looking under bushes and behind trees. "I found one," Gilbert shouted from the bushes. "I found two," Wally yelled from behind a tree. Patty and Lola searched the tall grass. "I can't find any eggs," Lola whined. "Look," Patty said. "There's one right by your foot." "I found one," Lola cried. She proudly put the green plastic egg into her basket. You mean you heard a word that had E at the end? I know what the word was. Proudly. And it has a root word in it. Has the word proud in it, but it has that Y at the end for proudly. Great job. Gilbert and Wally ran over to see if more eggs were hiding in the tall grass. Gilbert was anxious to find more because Wally's basket was almost full. But Lola's basket was almost empty. Gilbert sighed and gave Lola some eggs from his own basket. "Thanks," she said. "Let's find more." Together they ran toward a patch of trees. Oh my goodness, another word that had the E sound, empty. Guys, that Y at the end of words is something we should really, really know, because look at all of these. Do you see that? That is crazy. All of those have like the E sound at the end. So they're working together. Suddenly, Lola stopped running and shouted, "I see it! I see the golden egg up in that tree!" She stood on her toes, but she couldn't reach it. Neither could Gilbert. They needed someone tall. He called to Wally. Lola found the golden egg, but we can't get it. I wonder what Wally's going to do. Wally said, no problem. He stood on his toes and stretched higher and higher. I got it, he shouted. Yay, Wally, Gilbert said. Wally dropped the egg into his basket and walked off. Hey, Gilbert called to Wally. No fair, Lola found that egg. But I'm the one who picked it up, Wally said. Lola cried, I'm telling. But Wally just said, tattletale. That was not very nice of Wally, was it? The whistle blew. The hunt was over, and everyone headed back to the starting line. Wally had more eggs in his basket than anyone else. He also had the golden egg. Wally said, I like egg hunts. Let's go see what the prizes are. Gilbert had an idea. You're right, he said. Let's go see. Then he shouted, last one down is a rotten egg. I wonder why Gilbert's saying that. Wally took off and ran down the hill. I win, he said. When he looked back, Gilbert and Lola were still at the top, picking up all the eggs that had fallen out of Wally's basket, including the golden one. Oops, Wally said when he saw his empty basket. Finding the golden egg, Lola won a beautiful sugar egg with a scene inside of it. So you can see here, she's looking inside this egg and it has like a picture inside of it. For finding the most eggs, Gilbert won an Easter basket filled with chocolate eggs, cream eggs, and his favorite, marshmallow eggs. But Gilbert didn't feel right about taking the basket. He walked over to Wally and said, you really found the most eggs, not me. You should have the prize. Wally turned red. Maybe we could share it, he suggested. And they did. You can see all of them are sharing with all the friends that went for the Easter egg hunt. Isn't that nice? I think it's really nice. Happy Easter. So maybe this Sunday you guys are going to have your own Easter basket. We didn't get one for my daughter Loretta yet because she's a baby still. But anywho, look at all the Y at the end of the words we found. We found a ton, and all these make the E sound when you have that Y. Let's read our list together. Ready? Grumpy, happy, Wally, quickly, carefully, cheerfully, friendly, proudly, and empty. So when you're reading your books, why don't you guys try to make a list if you find Y's at the end of your words? It was great talking to you guys. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a great Easter, and I really want to hear about it on next Tuesday. Remember, no schoolwork Friday or Monday unless you haven't gotten your work done. Then you might want to start catching up. Bye.